Welcome to Best Kept Secrets Travel, episode 24. My name's Morgan.
And I'm Will. And on today's episode, we're going to be telling you 10 of the most important things to bring whilst going on a backpacking adventure.
Sounds great.
Let's roll the intro.
Best friends, and that's for life. Who stay traveling? I'm talking worldwide. 65 countries between the two. Every moment is so unbelievable. Sharing the best kept secrets about the trips and mistakes they made that they can't forget. So tell me if you're ready for a time to remember as they gear up for the next adventure. Yeah. Woo! Best kept secrets travel.
Before we dive straight into 10 of the best things that you should be taking whilst going on a backpacking adventure, I'm going to quickly tell you that you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because for every 100 subscribers on YouTube, we plant a tree in a National Trust location in the United Kingdom. And for every 50 downloads on all our podcast platforms, Plodcast. Yep, because we're plodding through the podcast. On our podcast platforms, we'll also have a tree planted, but somewhere around the world.
You know, that would be quite a good TikTok. Us doing a tree update.
That's what I was going to do.
Nice. I think we should do that.
We'll film it at the end of this.
Perfect.
Exactly.
So what are we talking about in this week's episode?
10 of the best things that you have to take whilst going on an adventure.
The
and
best
number
kept
one
secrets is,
a money belt.
of course,
Some people know it as a fanny pack, a
props
bum
would
bag,
works well.
a money belt. They go
Depends where you put it.
around your waist, sometimes diagonally.
Or a belt. Or, is
Or
that,
some
that,
people
that's
sit
kind
them-
of just for fashion purposes, though, isn't it?
That's slightly more fashion so, but I have seen some people travelling. Fanny packs typically when someone will wear it on the front facing, and bum bag when it's behind.
Where
But
does the name fanny pack come from?
it's just a pack above that area.
Ah, interesting.
One of the important things to think about is the type of holiday when you would take this. Some people out there will just wear one to every type of holiday they go on, but we're specifically talking about backpacking.
Fashionable people, those.
Yeah. And normally you'd bring one more, not just from the ease of carrying your passport or phone or money, is actually more from a safety
Imodium.
aspect. Is from a safety aspect.
Always have Imodium in mind.
Morgan, that's the end of this episode.
Okay, cool.
Not now.
Cool.
Is thinking about this money belt from a safety aspect. And the reason I want to sort of drift away from people calling it a bum bag for this is because that's typically behind you, which is actually
Not that safe.
a really silly place to hold any valuables, because that's the easiest place for someone to approach you, to pickpocket you, to mug you
It's pretty uncomfortable to sit on.
as well. Doesn't help
No.
at all. And I think generally we've both found that getting a very slimline and secure money belt is key.
So, yeah, the idea is you don't want the money belt to actually be on show. You're trying to wear this money belt and have it hidden, which is why you see all the hidden money belts. So you want a slim one, but you also want it to be comfortable, that you can just have under your shirt. Wearing a crop top would defeat the point of the hidden part.
So do you wear yours high up and under your shirt?
I wear it under my shirt, although sometimes...
Mine tucks into like the front of my trousers.
Yeah,
It's super slim.
Sometimes there's a bit of weight on it and it sort of pokes out, a bit of a beer belly almost.
Yeah.
But I do try and keep it slim and hidden under my t-shirt.
Yeah. And people go, oh yeah, but you'll easily be able to see it. I've had a passport, a vaccine passport, cash and a phone in there, and people not realise that I've had it there.
And yeah,
Ooh, what were you going for?
well, I was just going to say it's quite good if you're getting mugged. People don't always look to. Hopefully you won't, but people don't always look at your stomach. They're kind of looking at your pocket, like empty your pockets.
Yeah, and that segues straight into my point I was just about to bring up, that if you already know you're going out to buy something, but you've got your bum bag or fanny pack, I shouldn't have called it a bum bag, your fanny pack or money belt on, always remember to take a small-ish enough out that you could buy a pack of crisps or water or a drink without having to necessarily open that packet up, because some countries you physically have to bring large quantities of cash, or their denominations mean that you've got thick wads of cash, and you don't want that to be on show, especially in a shop. So sometimes you turn your back and you take it out, but always remember to have a bit of cash in the pocket. So in a really bad scenario that you do have, that you get mugged, you can then actually go, oh no, this is all the money I've got, instead of accessing that more secure hidden quantity.
Yeah, and we've talked about this a lot in our haggling episode in season 1 about having money in different pockets, partly for safety, but also for buying things and haggling, which was a good episode.
And number 2,
and this we've kind of disagreed on a bit, but I'm going to expand it to...
You will when you inflate it.
to personal items that help you sleep.
Okay. I think that's more fair.
Yeah, because so the original point was inflatable pillow. I struggle to travel without one. I think they're so good because they're so small when they're deflated, and then you inflate it and you can sleep anywhere. Bar sitting up, they don't work that well then, but you can sleep anywhere. And quite often I find in hostels is that the pillows are really thin and not very good material and not that great. So having my own inflatable pillow means I can put that under or over, and it helps me sleep. And I can also sleep in public places if need be.
And other things you can see with... So Morgan's talking about more a small square pillow. We'll go for this, or literally that size.
Yeah.
This size
That's
pillow if
even
you're watching
too
on
big,
YouTube.
if anything.
Tiny bit too big,
So
and that kind of pillow. But you can also get...
So for the podcast listeners, what size is that, would you say?
30 centimetres by 40 centimetres, roughly, give or take.
Give or take.
As an inflatable pillow. But the other kind of pillows you can get inflatable or just really compact memory foam neck pillows. I know are very popular and can be quite comfy. We're also talking about stuff like eye patches and eye masks, which I don't wear because I generally don't find them comfortable, and I can sleep very well anywhere without even an inflatable pillow. I can sleep most places just using a hoodie.
And I don't use them either, but my kind of best kept secret of what I would use is I actually have my cap, which I always wear travelling, almost always, and I use that to sleep because I can just put it over my face. It blocks out the light, but I can still see what's going on, because there's sometimes, again, semi-safety wise, where if you're sort of just dozing a bit, you want to keep yourself, especially if you're solo travelling, aware if possible.
Yeah.
So then by having the hat, I'm shutting out most of the light, but I can also see if people are approaching, and it gives you a bit of privacy without just full blackout of the eye patches.
I mean, less safe than that, I have gone full Kenny from South Park before, pulled up a hoodie and just tightened the drawstrings. Then it just squeezes in and I just breathe through the nose and mouth like that. And I just can't see anything. And I've just conked out for hours doing that. But you normally sleep more than I do on trips, but these are just
I sleep
blanketing sleeping tools. Because the more you travel, the easier you'll find it to sleep on planes, buses, bumpy roads,
coaches.
But when you're first trying to travel and you want an aspect of comfort or something that's just going to aid your sleep, eye patches, all different types of travel pillows you can get. Jumpers are great because you can tuck them into the seat belt. Earplugs, especially for hostels with noise.
I prefer music for when I sleep. I have a playlist that I made in 2016, and I still listen to the same playlist when travelling to go to sleep.
Really?
Yeah. It's called tube waxing. On Spotify.
Oh dear. Just plug in your Spotify more.
Yeah.
But people have, earplugs in hostels because you wake up at weird times and people set alarms.
And as someone commented on our TikTok,
you get a lot of couples clapping
without hands.
Yeah. A lot of that. Just without hands.
Oh, yes.
I'm sure our microphones love that, especially.
Oh, my goodness.
Checking the sound there. Number 3 on our list of things you should always bring whilst backpacking? Padlocks.
Padlocks, key.
Why do you need a padlock?
Actually, that was kind of my.
You don't always need a key. You can use combination
That was
lock.
going to be my follow-up. Combination or key. For travel, what do you normally say?
I always sway towards a key because it can't be hacked as easily.
Yes.
With a combination lock, I'm always making sure no one stood behind me and watching it. No one from an angle's watching it. At the end of the day, theoretically, someone could go up to a combination lock and spin the buttons and guess it. Do your research and trying to find a good, safe lock. There are TikTokers out there even ripping into lock companies saying which are the worst ones.
I tend to find, though, in my general life, I would say key is always better. When I travel, I think combination, because
There's an ease to it.
it's just a much easier...
Just be cautious about people around you.
And it's, you in case you lose things. But the reason, going back to his first question, the reason that you have a padlock is, and there's always an opportunity at hostels to use your padlock, and quite often you'll either be able to buy them, not sell them, or rent them, is you have lockers in your dorm rooms, because quite often in hostels you will be staying in a dorm room with strangers. It can be four people, or the largest one I've been in so far was a 32-person room.
Yeah.
And that was
I
weird.
was going to say I've seen a lot of 24s.
Yeah. And here you have, everyone has their own locker. People don't always lock up their stuff. You don't always necessarily need to lock all your stuff.
But if you've got camera equipment or phones
or passports,
even
or money,
expensive waterproofs and good quality Rab, North Face, all these kind of equipment, there will be sadly people out there who see them as desirable, knowing that there's a chance to potentially take it.
Yeah, so you have your padlock, and there'll be a locker there, and you basically put your stuff in and use your locker. And it's quite easy. In Luxembourg, one of my most recent trips, there's a combination lock. It broke. Wasn't ideal. I still carry it. I carried it to Romania.
Big benefit of combination lock is, in case you lose your key, then at least you can still use the lock.
Exactly.
And you can still use a lock to do stuff like you can padlock parts of your bags up if you know you're going on a certain journey, or if you're throwing your bag underneath a bus and you just think just extra precaution. There are lots of places where a padlock will come in handy.
Yeah. So it's a must-have for travelling.
Definitely.
And moving on to number 4.
Number 4.
We have, and this is great for packing and just general travel, a quick dry towel.
A large microfiber style
Yes.
towel is what we mean. An athletic sports, super thin, super absorbent towel.
So although sometimes when you travel, you do technically get given towels by hostels, which in general are fine because they'll have washed them and then give them back to you. Sometimes. In general, in theory, they've said they have. You hope they have. But for other trips, and if you don't fancy that, you can't be bringing a full-sized normal towel because you just can't fit it in your bag. So microfiber towels are these small towels that you can roll up into such a small packet. Quite often you can put them in a packet. And the best thing about them is they dry so quickly.
Out in the sun, throw it out. Even in the wind, they've dried really quickly.
They dry super quickly, and then you can put it back in your bag.
And you can wring it out.
If they haven't dried, though, they're still, because they're so thin and so small, they're not that heavy. And what I sometimes do is I just tie it to the outside of my bag until it does.
Some of them as well, which I know are sold on Amazon, can have really tiny, hidden and clever zip closed pockets in the corner. So if you're going to a beach and you go, oh, you know, I've brought nothing apart from a key, and you want to hide that because you don't necessarily want that on you, you can zip that in the corner of that towel and it will be very, very obvious.
It's not very well known that people steal towels.
Exactly. Less likely. And if you get a bright orange or yellow or purple towel, and you can even write your name on it in a good Sharpie, then at least you know it's yours, and there's another safety aspect to it, because we're always trying to make sure whatever option you do, especially when you're backpack traveling, is do stuff with precaution and think about the safety of the action you're doing.
Or you could dig a hole in the beach, bury the stuff there, and then put the towel on top, and it'll be a marker.
Yeah, I mean, pretty.
Should we move on to point 5?
You're just burying treasure with everyone watching you.
They don't know what you're burying. They might just think you're digging a moat.
A moat.
Yeah, you've just not got very far, and then you've buried it again.
You've given up.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Number 5.
Oh, number 5 is a water bottle,
A water bottle.
preferably a filtered one.
We have spoken about water bottles before in previous episodes, where we're talking about how you can save a lot of money whilst you go travelling. A water bottle is amazing because you can refill it in all the airports. There'll be lots of different
So it's
areas you can fill it up.
It's the tip for saving money going to an airport is you take the empty water bottle through, and then all airports, bar maybe Ruinabake and
Yeah.
some slightly smaller ones, there will be a water fountain.
A good refill station for your H2O. It's a cost-effective and smart way to
oxygen.
travel carrying a water bottle. There will be some times in your travels when you cannot avoid having to buy a bottle of water. Buying a bottle of
technically
water.
You get the water.
But there
bottle
were
too.
times where, I've hiked for 5 days through Fish River Canyon, have been so far from shops or anything, and we had to refill our own water from a river. I recommend having a filter on your water bottle if you can, because that can help not just with purifying, but actually sometimes with the flavour of it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I do personally recommend for some countries bringing chlorine purifying drops. So when I've gone around parts of Africa before and we're backpacking, every now and then you might have only one option, which is to refill your water from the likes of a tap, which you're questioning how clean it is. And
Bad for your
you
tummy.
can buy tiny drops or tablets of purifying tablets and clean your water. And I have done that for a long enough period of time, over a month, where almost every single day I was having to drink water where I've cleaned it with chlorine. And I can tell you, I'm almost-ish still normal. I'm not normal,
No.
but I don't think the chlorine's affected me being weird.
Normal is boring.
And boring is normal. Best kept secrets travel.
I think we should put that on a t-shirt.
Normal is boring and boring is normal.
Just the first bit. Normal is boring.
Go travel.
Yeah. It's genuinely. It's
Could
already
be good too.
It's already been planned.
It has.
Yeah.
When you watch this episode, you're going to buy one from us.
Or else.
Going for you.
So yes, that was a very good point.
Number 6.
We have. And you showed me the best one of these ever for the New Zealand trip.
The best one ever. Oh, what's that going to be? The best one?
Well, it's pretty good. May not be the best.
What could the best... What is it?
Adapter.
Oh, yeah, the multi-plug adapter.
Yeah.
Which
It's such
which
a
one
good
did
one.
you like, which I brought?
The white one. The white one that has the...
Which is slide in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think... with the 4 USB.
Oh, yeah,
That
that
one.
was quite a good
Oh,
one.
yeah, your
Oh,
one
no,
melted.
that
your
had...
one melted, remember? And then broke.
in the bottom of the bag.
Yeah. That's the one that
That was
I
South America,
loved.
wasn't
Oh,
it?
was it South America?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we don't know why it melted. We actually don't know why. We don't know if that was temperature or if that was...
I
The
assume
charger.
temperature is why things
something.
melt,
Mm.
just in general.
No, but we don't know if it was temperature of it being in a vehicle. Anyway,
But I love that plug.
a multi-adapter plug. So all the types of plugs, when you're looking at plugs we use in the UK with 3 prongs, or European, what's that? Is that a C?
Yep.
C, then E?
Yeah, it's one of the letters in the alphabet.
One of the letters in the alphabet. Everywhere we'll use a different plug, and we've been hopping between countries. We've been hopping between countries, neighbouring each other, and the second you go over, they use a different type of plug. So we do recommend bringing a multi-use adapter where you can either change the front of it by interchanging little clip-on adapters for the plug, or you can buy a multi-slider, because if you just buy the bulky adapters, you'll waste so much weight, money, and space in your bag going on your adventure, and it's so easy. I've had one before which had 4 USB chargers in it at one, so we could be charging 2 phones and our cameras all at once, or you can charge laptops off USB as well. So it's such a good thing to have. And
I'm trying to work out according to World Standards website, why we don't all have a universal plug.
Voltage.
Well, it's because when electricity was first introduced into the domestic environment, it was primarily for lighting. So these appliances had different sockets. Lighting appliances had different sockets to heating appliances.
Oh.
I
know we have different voltage here to the US.
Yeah, and then there was a need for safer installations, which was where the 3-pin plug outlets came from.
Yeah, because we have
third pin having the earth pin.
Yeah. Because we're a smart country, unlike...
Okay, guess the number of different styles of plugs in the world.
26.
Well, it says no less than, but here it lists 15 different styles of plugs.
Okay. 15.
Yeah.
15 plugs. Can we just bring the world together to go for one plug so we can save some money?
Yeah, I agree. In 1986, the IEC finally presented the universal standard plug, Type N, to the world, but unfortunately the initial enthusiasm had dampened. It wasn't until 2007 Brazil became the first country in the world to adopt Type N.
I think we should.
Which was why when we moved.
Should we start a petition in this country?
Yeah.
N-type plug. By Best Kept Secrets
Type N plug. Yeah, it was our idea. So yeah, many Latin American, African, Asian countries are still in the same. Some of those countries.
I think we could do the N-type plug by 2035 or something.
Yeah, I think we could do that.
That'd be quite cool. A lot of things now are moving to USB without having to have a plug, which I do like, because then that...
Aren't they moving to USB-C?
For certain things, yeah.
Because hasn't Apple been told to change?
Yeah, but that's just how they're fined. Anyway, we don't need to talk about this.
So they're not going to change it?
I think they have for certain devices, they have for the iPad, but for every single device they produce, they got fined £5 or $5. Every device you produce without with a standardized connector.
That's
so
tough.
all the lightning cables you got fined on.
That's
Number 8.
7 is battery pack.
Number 7 is battery pack. Battery pack. You can't always find a charging port when you are in the middle of the Amazon forest and you don't even have GPS. We didn't even have GPS, let alone phone signal or internet. We didn't have GPS. And in case you need to charge...
We did have catfish.
We did have catfish, but that... I'm not getting into that. I was about to say that they're not electrical in any way, but they are.
Darn! Almost tricked you.
Almost tricked myself.
Yeah.
You won't have access to plugs like you normally do. There might be a small generator on site, but they won't want you to waste electricity.
And multi-day hikes as well.
Exactly, multi-day hikes. But having a small, compact power charger is super handy. You can get ones now which don't even cost that much.
No.
For a really good one, £30 to £50 will get you an amazing portable charger,
Yeah.
which could charge your phone 4 to 5 times. You can now get ones which will help charge
Other
your...
things.
If you have a camper van, you can get massive units which can charge, I think, up to 10 laptops.
Or just chuck it in your backpack.
Or the massive
Yeah.
one. Your backpack is just a portable charger by that point. Do
I don't think that would be allowed through TSA or customs.
you not?
No.
Just a small feeling about that.
Well, it won't go in hold because the battery packs aren't allowed in hold because they're mainly lithium.
Yes, true.
So you would have to. It would have to be a carry-on.
So yeah, that is the thing. Certain countries normally will try and stop people bringing certain amp batteries and battery packs. So do, for some countries, look that up beforehand. I've never been pulled up on it. I don't know if you have. I've never been pulled up on the sides of the battery. Sometimes
No.
quantity, but
No.
we've been clever in splitting that. Because the only time you're really going to be questioned is at the X-ray machine
Yeah.
for your bag and
The
luggage.
only thing I've been picked up for that was camera wires. They're like showing me what wires connect to what.
Really?
Yeah. Which is a bit odd. It was an odd experience. It was in India. I got through the X-ray and they asked me to show me how the plugs work, how the wires work. So I assumed that they saw it in the X-ray, saw all the mishmash of wires and probably not that neat in my packing, and then thought some untoward things about
you.
the wires, and
That's
made
bizarre.
me show them that they plugged into different things.
So battery pack, super useful, great thing, highly recommend it. Would be annoying to travel without one, almost anywhere.
Agreed.
Agreed. Number 8 of our 10
dun.
best things to bring is
Copies of all your important documents. So this could be passports. This could be
vaccination booklets.
So yellow fever. I was going to say
Yellow fever, sometimes rabies, hepatitis, COVID.
It could be visas. If you got a written one, it could be some countries you need an invitation to go to. So it could be that.
Some countries will actually ask for a copy of this when you arrive as well. So for certain countries, make sure before you go whether you're going to have to hand over a copy with your immigration form. So you'll need a copy for that, let alone always bringing a spare copy in case as well.
Yeah, and then there's also your accommodation. It's worth having that in case all electricity fails.
Yep.
It's nice to have a backup.
Or just print off a mini itinerary. The main thing about the passport copy is if you do lose your passport, make sure your passport and your copies are always kept separately. So passport in
That is a
your
best kept
money
secret.
belt that we spoke about at the beginning, and then have your copies, for example, in your bag.
And sometimes I even give, or I have done before, is give a copy of my passport.
I think
to
we've
whoever I'm-
swapped stuff, yeah.
traveling with, because that's quite a good best kept secret. Because you'd hope that they both don't get stolen or lost, and then.
But you need that copy in case you need to go to the embassy, and it makes proving your identity so much easier, and then they can give you a temporary document to help you travel back home. Exactamundo. And number 9.
We have spare money / spare cash cards
Or local currency.
or local currency. So this is always very important, and we've spoken about it before, as I feel like we talk about a lot of things, unsurprisingly, on the podcast. So, review, if you've heard it before. Do it. Spare money cards. So this could be just a separate bank card or bank account. Because if you're traveling and you're using, say, an HSBC card, and then for some reason that gets cancelled or stopped, if you don't have any backups, then you're really in trouble here. So always have a backup card. So I used to always get in the UK we have post office cards, money cards, that you can get, and it's a prepaid card. You put money on it, and that I'd have in my bag as a spare thing, or I just have some spare cash of of the currency just in my bag somewhere as an emergency money. It's always good to have sock money. And you were saying about cash.
Cash.
Local currency is also useful to
You
get
need it.
if you can.
You almost can always get some form of local currency.
It's quite hard.
Most countries that I've been to, especially throughout Africa and South America, US dollars can be used as a very strong currency.
Southeast Asia as well.
US dollars, very good.
It's a very good currency. You just tend to get a bad exchange rate in person using it, but it's good to
You
have.
get it better than you would something like British pounds or euros typically.
Oh, yeah. Compared to that.
US dollars, a very good thing.
I was
to use.
comparing to local currency.
Yeah, never exchange in the airport for local currency unless you literally have to, because your exchange rate is going to be awful. Sometimes there'll be street vendors, etc., who can offer it to you, and just you might need to haggle a little bit if you know it's an outrageous offer for the exchange rate. But having local currency is key. We even spoke to someone recently who planned to go on a 2-week holiday out to Cuba, and they read everywhere that they'd be fine paying with cards. You couldn't pay for their hotel up front or anything like that, and they ended up having to withdraw as much cash as they could, and then they struggled trying to find anywhere to withdraw money, so they actually cut their holiday short from 2 weeks to 1 week and had to fly home early because they physically couldn't find anywhere to get out enough cash to carry on the holiday.
Hi, by the way.
Yeah, not a good move, that one. Should have spoken to us beforehand, we could have helped you.
Giving you some best kept secrets.
But that's why you need to do your own research and really, really be sure. Worst case, you can speak to a tourist office. You can get in contact with them. Super useful. Even some of the embassies will respond to you.
Yeah, I tend with Romania. Went to go and watch a rugby game there. I didn't know how to get tickets. I contacted Rugby Romania. I contacted the hostel. The hostel is a very good person to contact. And then I also, emailed the tourism board for Romania.
And who helped the most?
None of them, unfortunately.
None of them actually got back to you,
No, they got back to me and they said they didn't know the answer.
including Rugby Romania.
Oh, they were the only ones who didn't get back to me.
Oh, that probably would have been the most useful
Yeah,
one.
that would have been so the hostel didn't even know there was a rugby game, and the tourism said, I think they said contact the rugby.
Ah,
And then
just the rugby.
Yeah, the rugby Romania.
The rugby, help.
That was really fun though.
Sounds it.
Yeah. So now moving on to our last, final, and most important point. And this is what you must take on every trip. Can you guess it? If you've been listening to the podcast...
Can you guess it? Yes, you can.
If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you'll know it. It's Imodium Instance.
That one. It's going to stop that. Clogs it all up.
So when your water bottle filter fails, and it may, or you don't run out and you have to have some dodgy water,
Or you've got deli belly.
or Deli Belly, Imodium Instant will save you.
Or you've stupidly eaten really dodgy prawns on the street in Thailand in a 14-hour layover, so your flight from Bangkok to Sydney was less enjoyable. I don't know who that would ever happen to.
Who would that happen
You
to?
might need Imodium.
Yeah. And so whenever travelling, I always try and have this. And also, you don't know where, when you're abroad, where the next toilet you may find and what state it's in and whether it's how usable it is. And so I always try and travel with Imodium Instant in my fanny pack.
Do you?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Everywhere I've got the fanny pack, it should have some Imodium Instant.
And Imodium Instant is literally as it says. Instant. It's surprisingly terrifying how quick it works.
Yeah. It will hopefully save you. If not, you're a goner.
So unconvincing.
Well, in Vietnam, the people I was travelling with, they were too far gone.
Were they?
They were just they were.
I don't think
gone.
I've ever been too far gone. They must have been bad.
They were coming out both ends. They were just
Right, we don't need to go into that. We really hope that
One
you've
toilet,
enjoyed this episode
tag
of Best
teaming
Kept
the
Secrets
toilet
Travel.
all evening.
10 of the
Slept through
most
it
important
all.
things to
Perfect.
bring whilst you're on a backpacking adventure. Please like, subscribe, leave us a comment.
And it was
Massively helps.
great. I
Follow us
managed
on
to avoid
TikTok.
it.
Best Kept Secrets
It-
Travel.
it
All
was
one word with no
fantastic.
spaces. We're growing trees and followers day by day.
Fantastic.
Let's keep going.
Roll the outro.
Yeah, let's make it happen. I hope that you can handle going on adventures, best kept secret travels. Yeah, all over the globe, having fun, you know the deal. Amazing secret locations, hang out with Morgan and Will. Educate and entertain, haggle in the market, sharing their experiences. Time to get it started. Let's go.